Welcome to 5 to 9, the movie game for movie fans, where we'll have to connect actors to actors through no fewer than 5 and no more than 9 movies. I'm your host, Eric Ginsberg, and we're coming to you live on tape from my apartment, quarantined in beautiful Asbury Park, New Jersey. Do you love movies? Do you love getting lost in the IMDb, the Internet Movie Database? Do you love talking through, oh, who was that guy? Who was in that thing? What's his face? Then this is your show, and this game is for you. In just a moment, I'm going to introduce today's contestants. But first, I want to remind you that if you'd like to be a contestant on 5 to 9, you can enter for a chance to be on our show by beating us at our own game. Just download or purchase official 5 to 9 game cards at 5to9game.com. That's the number 5, T-O, the number 9, game.com. Play today's challenge, post a photo of your winning game card on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook, and tag at 5 to 9 game in your post. So my first guest, he is a musician. He is a piano player. When we are not quarantined, you can see him playing piano all over restaurants, bars, and clubs. Right now, while we are quarantined, you can see him just about daily on Facebook. My first guest is my friend Rich Aveo. Rich, hello. Hi, how you doing?
Eric, so good to see you. I'm great.
I'm excited to see you as well. So, Rich, we were talking a little bit before the show, and you told me that one of your favorite movies when you were a kid was Johnny Dangerously.
Yes.
And I can't tell you how many times I watched that movie.
You are killing me, right? Are you serious?
I have seen it so many times.
I've never met another person who's known this movie. I am like so ecstatic right now.
There are so many great running gags for the movie between Vermin, being hung on the hook. You shouldn't hang me from the hook, Johnny. And Peter Boyle, when the explosion and he's holding the faucet and he's like, I'm holding my dork in my hand.
Oh my gosh, you guys.
But my favorite is the gang rival when he gets all the curse words wrong. Like he calls everybody, you fartigan ice holes, stuff like that just always gets me. So many great running gags, especially the elephantitis.
Yes.
Just a really good time. So, Rich, I'm glad you're here. I'm looking forward to talking movies with you very soon. But first, I have to introduce our next guest, who is a phenomenal singer-songwriter and also one half of the improv comedy duo Cat and London. Cat and London. Do it again. That part again.
It should just be me.
It's Cat and London. Yeah, it's just you. It was a different location, you see, is what it was. I picked the wrong location. I'm going to edit this out. It's going to be fine.
Yeah.
But I'm going to introduce our next guest, who is a singer-songwriter in her own right, but also half of the hilarious improv duo Cat and Vegas and the Temple of Boom. Please welcome Cat London. Hello, Cat.
Woo! Thank you very much.
Cat, welcome to the show. Cat, tell me a little bit about Cat and Vegas and the Temple of Boom.
Cat and Vegas and the Temple of Boom is a musical improv comedy duo that started about 12 years ago with my friend Vegas Lancaster. We were in college. We were doing short form and long form improv together. And then I was also a singer-songwriter at the time. And we started fooling around. I would play my songs and leave the lyrics out. And he and I would create new comical lyrics over my old tunes, and that transitioned into just me coming up with any kind of lick, guitar, piano, and then we make up stuff on the spot.
Yeah. And you guys perform all over, including you do trolley tours in Long Branch. Once we're off of quarantine, you teach improv over at 10PL in Long Branch, all of which is phenomenal. And you also make short films. Where's your current short film in terms of the circuit?
Sure. It's right now we are two things. Also, by the way, Rich scored that short film. So we're just like this crazy
power duo.
Pestering power production house. So right now it's like two things. We are putting it into film festivals, and it actually got into two film festivals of the 70 that we applied for. And
this is called Scuba, right?
It is called Scuba. So we are now waiting for the rest of the 68 film festivals to tell us whether or not we got in.
Or happen.
And
right
or
now.
A lot of them are being rescheduled, which stinks.
Yeah. I mean, we had here in Asbury Park, we had the Garden State Film Festival, which went all online. We've got the Asbury Park Music and Film Festival that should have been coming up this month that has to call an audible and adjust as needed. Now, Rich, you scored that film, but I know you mostly as not just half of The Constant with Kat London, but also as a guy who plays your mental list of songs is so long, including anytime you play Stevie Wonder, you are so spot on. What are some of your favorite songs to play?
Literally anything Stevie Wonder. I absolutely love Stevie Wonder. Going into the piano bar realm has given me a new appreciation for Billy Joel. I've always loved him, but I've found a new love for him, in my adult years. So Billy Joel, Stevie Wonder, love Donny Hathaway. I love 90s R&B. That's like my jam.
That's your
Oh, yeah. And you have a great single. Tell us about your single that you put out recently.
So I have a song called Weightless that was released, and we've seen a lot of cool things happen with it. Our mutual friend Amanda Duncan did a lyric video for it, which was absolutely amazing.
It's the cutest.
Yeah, it got an award down in Asbury, and was in film festivals as well. And it won actually like the Vox Populi. I'm not even sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Oh, you are. It's Latin.
Yes.
Voice of the People.
Voice of the People. So it won like the People's Choice Award for the Independent Music Awards last year. So it's really cool.
That's so exciting, and I am so excited to have you guys on the show. Oh, one thing I couldn't not mention is how much, Kat, you and I both have such an affinity for A Nightmare Before Christmas. I'm sorry, The Nightmare Before Christmas. And here you are actually wearing a shirt of it, which if all of you listeners want to check it out on YouTube, you can see she's wearing the shirt. What is your favorite part of that movie?
Okay.
If you can only pick one.
Okay. If I am, and this is blasphemy because there is no favorite part of any Tim Burton creation, but it's Jack's Lament, or is it no, I think it's called Poor Jack, and it's when he's singing, he's in the graveyard going, "What have I done?" He just wrecked Christmas.
Yeah.
I can't remember if it's Poor Jack or that Jack's Lament. I forget the title, but that scene is so sad and gorgeous.
Yeah. It's great. I mean, there's so many great moments in the movie, but guys, we've invited you both here today to play the movie game 5 to 9, where you'll have to connect 2 actors through no fewer than 5 and no more than 9 movies. So here's how we're going to play. Before our show, we asked you to both write down the names of 5 actors, and you've sent those to me. I have put them inside a literal hat, and now I'm going to draw them, and we're going to have to connect these 2 actors. So the first name I'm going to pull out of the hat that we're going to put in our from spot is Catherine O'Hara, who, of course, was in A Nightmare Before Christmas and several other Tim Burton films.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. We were just talking a little bit about Catherine O'Hara in our last episode, though we did not connect anything through her. We just got to talk about how much we love Catherine O'Hara. The next name, you're going to have to go from Catherine O'Hara to Michael Keaton. Okay. Michael Keaton, Rich, who, of course, is the star of Johnny Dangerously. Wow, this is working out really well for both of you.
Yes.
I just watched The Founder with Michael Keaton about Ray Kroc, who turned McDonald's into a franchise. And he played that part so well in that he was able to transform throughout the movie from the protagonist to, by the end, the villain. He's phenomenal.
I love him.
Yeah.
It's my guy.
Now, we're going to draw one more name, a third name, and that's going to be our wild card. If we can go through that wild card, you can earn 3 bonus points. Our wild card today is going to be Ewan McGregor.
Ooh.
Oh, wow.
Ewan McGregor, I think, is phenomenal, but it just seems that just about every movie that he's in either underperforms or gets shelved or winds up going straight to on demand. I mean, you think about like the entire DCEU, not great movies, but the lowest box office was the Birds of Prey movie where he was in it, right? Yeah. And I mean, granted, he did very well in the Star Wars movies, but he's kind of popped up in a lot of movies that should have done better, that I don't think he was the problem, but I don't know, for some reason, doesn't seem to convert so well.
Yeah, I totally agree.
So one more thing, guys. We are going to spin the wheel. And that's going to be our house rule for today. Each time you hit the house rule, you're going to get a bonus point. So here is the wheel. Typically, I would let you guys spin it, but I am going to spin it. Today, it is spinning, ticka, 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 ticka. And today's house rule is, boop, let's see, it says child actor. So if you can use anybody in this game who either was a child actor or even is a child actor in the movie, you use them. I mean, just kind of thinking it through. Catherine O'Hara was not a child actor. Michael Keaton was not a child actor. Ewan McGregor was not a child actor. So we're not going to get any points on those guys. You will also get 2 bonus points if we can make it through Kevin Bacon, because he is our perennial wild card, and 1 bonus point for any SNL cast member, as always. So we're going to start by putting Catherine O'Hara in our from spot. Now, Kat, Rich, you guys are going to be playing together as a team. I am going to be here on the sidelines to offer some help along the way, but not too much help. Are you guys ready to play the game?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, Coach Ginsberg.
All right. So listen, as always, I have to apologize in advance to the actors who've spent a career building a body of work whose faces we know, but whose names we may butcher, and to all the hardworking writers, directors, and producers who picked the perfect name for a film that we may likely fumble through. I swear, we really do love your work. All right, folks, we are ready. Why don't you start talking through Catherine O'Hara movies, see where it takes you, see who else was in. If you can get to Ewan McGregor, great, but you got to get to Michael Keaton to win this thing. Just start talking it through with each other.
Okay, so the obvious easy connection.
Right.
They're both in Beetlejuice.
They're in that.
Okay.
I keep thinking of Home Alone with Catherine O'Hara for child actor.
Oh,
with Macaulay Culkin, who I don't know any of the works he was in after that.
I don't know that he's had a prolific body of work.
Right.
I mean, he had, I would say, a good 10 movies from when he was a kid. Now, I do like how you guys went immediately, well, yes, they were in Beetlejuice, but then you kept going because, of course, the game 5 to 9, we need at least 5 movies. So if we just said, they're in Beetlejuice, boom, I win. You get no points. You lose. So we got to keep going. But sure, Macaulay Culkin was in a lot of movies, or who else? Or what other Catherine O'Hara movies? Or who else was in Home Alone? Just keep going.
Home Alone is a trove of
yes,
actors, right?
Lots of actors.
Daniel Stern, we have Joe Pesci, we have
the father. Who is the father?
I can't remember the father's name. I love him. He's great.
He just passed away a couple of years ago.
No,
oh my God.
Yeah. Hurd, I think his last name is Bill Hurd, Richard Hurd, something Hurd.
He was in Big with Tom Hanks and Robert Loggia, and
I totally forgot that Robert Loggia was in Big. I just hadn't thought about it in so long. But he's like the best with the piano scene, and
it's the best. He's the best.
I still haven't seen it, and it's one of his favorite films.
Well, you got a lot of time on your hands right now since we're all quarantined.
That's very true.
Exactly.
We're watching a lot of Disney Plus.
Yeah, we are. Okay,
nice.
So let's see. We have Catherine O'Hara, Michael Keaton, and we have to jump around a little bit. We'll spiderweb this out.
She was a voiceover in Nightmare.
Yeah.
So other famous people who voiced over. No.
I don't know the cast of Nightmare that well.
Yeah, no, she was Sally, right?
Sally.
And Oogie was it wouldn't even.
I forget who was Oogie Boogie, but on Lock, Stock, and Barrel.
Oh, yes.
So Pee-wee.
So yes, Paul Rubens was one of the.
It was Danny Elfman.
Guys.
Yeah, it was Danny Elfman.
And who was the third one?
It was Catherine O'Hara again.
Oh, okay, yes. Okay.
So
let's see.
Paul Rubens. Any of those weird
Reuben.
Reuben.
Yeah, I don't know if it's Rubens or I think it's Rubens.
Is it?
It's definitely Rubens. There's more than one Reuben going on there.
Was he in didn't he do films snuff films, not snuff films, but
he was
cigarette films that were dangerous?
He had the one. I think he was in Blow.
He was,
which is a Johnny Depp
which was
thing?
a dark movie.
Okay.
So you got the connection with Johnny Depp, which can tie us back into the side door of Burton movies.
Well, Paul Rubens was in a number of Tim Burton movies, not the least of which was Pee-wee's Big Adventure, which was directed by Tim Burton. And then he cast him as Oswald Cobblepot's father in Batman Returns.
Oh, yes.
And they played this great little homage in the more recent show Gotham, where when Oswald Cobblepot's father in that show showed up, he was played by Paul Rubens again.
Awesome.
And
I didn't know that. That's fantastic.
Who was Batman?
Okay, so let's see if we can bounce this around that way then.
Okay.
So Michael Keaton was Batman in Batman
Yes,
Returns.
yes.
Okay, so that's a cool little offshoot right
I
there.
mean, we're just kind of hanging out within like the Tim Burton verse right now.
Yes, exactly.
I know, yeah, exactly.
Except for Blow,
I forget
Yeah.
the rule, except for Blow.
which gets us to Johnny Depp, which brings us back into Tim Burton.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
I forget where we're trying to
So
get
we
to.
have Catherine O'Hara.
We're
and
trying to
Michael
get to Michael Keaton, but if we can go through Ewan McGregor, 3 bonus points.
Oh yeah, Ewan McGregor.
He was in.
Did Tim Burton direct Big Fish?
He
No.
did.
Oh, he
Wait,
did.
he
yeah,
did? Oh my
He
God.
did.
He did.
Okay,
Oh,
so
that's
there's
so
got to be some
easy.
tie-ins here then. There's got to be some tie-ins.
Well, in Big Fish was
So
who's
Albert Finney.
Albert Finney. I was
Albert
like, who's
Finney
the guy who
was
sounds
the father. Hold on, I have a connection to Kevin Bacon through this.
Do it.
What's his name? What's the actor's name who was in Sleepers? He played the journalist in Sleepers. I can't
also
remember his
Danny
name.
DeVito was in Big Fish.
Who was this? Who was the?
Danny DeVito was in Big Fish, as well as a number of other Tim Burton films.
He was
in
also
Dumbo.
the Penguin.
And Penguin.
Mhm.
But Sleepers.
Who was the son? The actor. You're probably not going to know his name. I have his face locked in my brain. Well, actually,
what did he play?
You know what? I don't actually think Danny DeVito was in Big Fish. I think I misspoke on that one.
No, he was. He was the circus leader. He was the barker.
He was the ringleader.
He was the ringleader in Dumbo.
Both.
I think both.
Yeah?
Yeah, he announced the giant. They call him El Penumbra.
Yeah.
And he was naked in it too.
He's always naked.
He's always naked. So.
Any chance he can get.
Okay, so Catherine
I
O'Hara.
thought there was a Kevin Bacon reference in Big Fish.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Most definitely,
Okay.
because the son, Albert Finney's son.
Yes, the guy with the luscious black hair.
The luscious black hair.
Yes.
He was in Sleepers with Kevin Bacon.
Oh, awesome.
Was he?
Yeah. He was one of the kids from the school.
Oh, yeah. You're right.
He was like the only one in the movie in Sleepers who didn't like
Act well?
go crazy.
Oh, okay.
Like when they got older, because they were abused as kids and they all went they went bad ways. But he was actually
That sounds
I think
like a Kevin Bacon
attorney.
movie.
He became an attorney or something, and that had to then save like his other 2 guys who killed Kevin Bacon in the movie because they got revenge on him for abusing
Spoiler alert. Thanks,
Well,
Rich.
In case you haven't seen it.
In case you haven't seen it over the last 25 years. But we can definitely
We're trying to
channel Kevin Bacon here. Okay.
All right. So how do we go
Yeah.
to? I mean, you want to get to Big Fish. I'm totally with you. You want to go through somebody who could connect to Catherine O'Hara. So maybe instead of doing Paul Rubens and Blow with Johnny Depp, maybe we go straight to Danny DeVito from Batman Returns. So Paul Rubens to Batman Returns to Danny DeVito to Big Fish to who's the name of that actor?
Oh man, what was his name?
The actor. Oh,
I
of
can see
Sleepers?
his face.
Oh,
wait, what was who was the what's her name?
Oh, the witch was it's Tim Burton's
Tim
girl.
Burton's wife.
Yes.
For a number of years, yeah.
Yeah, that's your girl. Why are we
Helena
blanking?
Bonham Carter.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Here we go. So we got it. I think
Who was also in Harry Potter. We also have that if any of these people were in that too, if we need to get
Yes, but again, we have to get into Big Fish. So if we're going to go Paul Rubens in Batman Returns, ignoring Michael Keaton to use Danny DeVito.
Yes. So here we go.
And then going to Big Fish.
I lost this trail.
I think I've got it. I've got it. We've got Catherine O'Hara.
Yes.
Okay, who was the voice of Sally.
Right. Yep.
In Nightmare.
Paul Rubens.
Who was also in the movie with Paul Rubens.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Who was in Batman Returns with Danny DeVito.
Yes.
Who was in Big Fish with Ewan McGregor.
Damn, no children.
Who was also in Big Fish with Helena
Well,
Bonham.
we can't use Big Fish twice, but we can definitely use Big Fish to get to Ewan McGregor. So you guys have done a really great job of getting from Catherine O'Hara to the wild card of Ewan McGregor. Now, if you can get to Michael Keaton, you've got this thing. And again, if you can go through Kevin Bacon, all the better. But you're right. If you're going to use Ewan McGregor in Big Fish, you're not going to use the actor you were missing, which is Billy Crudup, who was in Sleepers with Kevin Bacon, because we can't use Big Fish twice.
That was it. Okay.
I just saw, and again, because like I'm on quarantine, so I'm watching like a movie every single day. I saw this really dumb, funny movie called The Watch,
Okay.
which had Ben Stiller and Vince Vaughn and Jonah Hill, and Billy Crudup has a great little part as this neighbor across the street who they think is an alien, but is really just running adult parties in his basement, to say that in a PG way.
That's cool. That's funny. All right.
But yeah, okay, so we're at Ewan McGregor and we want to get to Michael Keaton. How do we get there?
We're at Ewan McGregor, so we can go from Ewan McGregor. So we're in Big Fish now.
Well, we're leaving Big Fish to get to Ewan McGregor. Now we're out of Big Fish. Where's Ewan McGregor going to go?
How many more moves do we have?
I mean, you have up to 9 movies, and so far you've only used 3, so you have plenty to go. But the closer you get to 5, the more points you're going to get. The further from 5, your points start eroding.
Okay, got it. Okay.
So from Big Fish to...
So Ewan McGregor.
Who's in a million movies with a million phenomenally talented people.
Why am I blanking?
He was in Come What May. Moulin Rouge with Nicole Kidman and Danny DeVito. No, I'm sorry, that's not Danny DeVito. I'm just thinking of short people.
Yeah, you're thinking of John Leguizamo. He was Toulouse in that.
Oh yeah, he was beautiful.
Right.
Who else was in?
Okay, so Moulin Rouge.
I mean, the funny thing is, Nicole Kidman was in Batman Forever, which did not have Michael Keaton.
Oh yeah,
did not have her.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I forget who played him in Batman Forever.
Okay, so I just have to say, so many episodes we wind up going through some Batman movie, and it really cracks me up. Batman comes up almost every single episode.
Really funny.
Great. That is so great.
Should we work backwards with what Keaton movies have been? Because that's who we're trying to get to.
That might be a good plan.
Were there any other weird?
Oh, he's been in. He's got so many movies. So he was
in Mr. Rogers. That's not a movie.
No, he was in a documentary about Mr. Rogers.
He was on the TV show. He was one of the puppeteers on the original Mr. Rogers. That's fun fact. Michael Keaton is his stage name. Would you like to know what his actual name is? His birth name? Yes. Michael Douglas. But because there was already a famous Michael Douglas, he had to pick a different name. And that's how he picked Michael Keaton. And that's how he kind of like parses out his acting life from his personal life, because at home he's Michael Douglas and at work he's Michael Keaton.
Yep.
That's cool.
I did know that.
I like that.
So Keaton
I can agree.
So obviously, again, Michael Keaton was in, the original Batman Returns.
Birdman.
Birdman was great with a phenomenal cast. I'm sure you can connect somebody through somebody.
Yes, for sure.
Who else was in Birdman?
So Emma Stone.
Mm-hmm.
Birdman.
Who was his?
I'm blanking on the movie. I
remember. Who's the guy I hate?
Oh my God! Where do we begin?
Fight Club. Ed Sheeran. No.
Oh, Edward Norton.
Ed Norton.
Ed Norton. Sure, he's phenomenal, and he's great in that movie as just like this guy you want to hate so bad.
I hate him in all movies.
Really? Have you seen Primal Fear?
Oh yes.
Because he's great in that as someone you want to hate.
Yes. Yeah, he's fantastic.
Did you see him in American History X? Because he's great in that as someone you want to hate.
I've been trying to get her to watch that for years
My first Ed Norton film was The Hulk.
Oh, no.
No wonder.
The Incredible Hulk.
That was such a not great Hulk portrait.
I was like, who is this man who's not doing anything on screen?
Yeah, he totally hijacked the movie, and then they heave-hoed him out the window before they got to Avengers.
Thank goodness,
because they finally got the Hulk right.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get back on track. So
I said Birdman with we were listing those
Birdman,
actors.
which had Ed Norton, Emma Stone, and oh my gosh, there's somebody else whose face I can see and I can't seem to tie it in. All right, so what's our arc here?
Our goal is to get to Ewan McGregor.
We're trying to get back to Ewan McGregor so we can tie it into Michael Keaton.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Get what into to tie in?
Well, we've gone from Catherine O'Hara
Yes.
to Ewan McGregor in Big Fish.
Right.
Now we have to get out of Big Fish and tie it in to, maybe potentially a Batman movie or
Albert Finney wasn't in. I feel like Albert Finney is a name that should have been cast as Batman.
although he would have made a great Alfred. No, he would.
Alfred. Yes,
he never played
exactly.
Alfred.
Never actually happened.
I think he would have been a great Alfred.
Has Albert Finney ever acted with, who plays Scrooge in A Muppet's Christmas Carol? He's very British.
He is Alfred now, has been for a number of years. Not now anymore, actually. Now it's
Michael Caine. It's Michael Caine.
Michael Caine.
Right,
yeah.
right. We have Michael Caine in the Dark Knight trilogy. Now we have Jeremy Irons in the DCEU. We'll see who we wind up with in The Batman. I'm sure it's cast. I just haven't read up on it yet.
Yeah. Okay.
They just keep recasting.
That's an interesting tie then.
And to be clear, we don't have to go through Batman. Sure. Though we did mention that Ewan McGregor is in Birds of Prey, which is a DCEU film, which we could get to a Batman somehow. The question is, how do we get to Michael Keaton, who was only Batman twice?
Oh man, yeah.
I think what I loved about Michael Keaton's portrayal, not to kind of shift movies on you, but what I loved about his portrayal of Vulture in Spider-Man Homecoming, which in my opinion, a little controversial, might be the best live-action Spider-Man film ever made.
Yeah, I've only seen clips of it, but
it is available on demand right now. I have Optimum, and it's on like TBS or USA or TNT or like one of those like on-demand things. But he plays the Vulture, and it just reminded me so much of what Alfred said, what Michael Caine said in The Dark Knight. You either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
Yes.
Oh.
And so he went from Batman, the hero, to being Vulture, the villain.
Yep. Interesting.
Part of my instinct is like, maybe we shouldn't have gone the Paul Rubens route.
I mean, that was okay because that got us to Ewan McGregor, which was our wild card, which is worth a lot of points.
I wonder if we should have taken a different Catherine O'Hara film. I
mean, there's so many Catherine O'Hara films, not the least of which are the entire Christopher Guest suite of films.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh! How silly of me! I am such a Chris Guest fan.
Mm-hmm. As an improvisational actress, I imagine you would be.
Was she? Yes. Was she in? No. What was she in? Best in Show.
Mm-hmm.
You don't really know Best in Show very well.
That's okay. It's the same cast as A Mighty Wind and the same cast as Waiting for Guffman.
Yeah. And what's his name? Michael. I love him. He's so fun. I can't remember his last name right now. It's not Michael McDowell, is it? What's his name?
It's Michael McSomething.
Yeah. What's his Michael?
The guy who's the commentator in Best in Show.
He's the lead singer of Spinal Tap.
Yes, the lead singer of Spinal Tap.
Okay.
Oh man, why does my audio it's stopping recording for some reason?
Yeah, it doesn't
It's like it's a recording for clips and then just stopping.
Are those R's supposed to be blinking?
Yeah, that just means the track is armed. Sorry, we're having some technical issues here. Oh my goodness gracious.
I mean, theoretically, if we go all the way back to him, how do we then get to Ewan McGregor and or Michael Keaton?
Right. I think my problem is, admittedly, I don't think I know a ton of Ewan McGregor movies.
Well, I mean, we had a couple good ones mentioned already. You mentioned Moulin Rouge, which you mentioned has Nicole Kidman and John Leguizamo. We can keep going from there. That's definitely an out.
That's true.
That's true. Nicole Kidman. She
was most recently cast in that movie about women newscasters. She was also in
who Margot Robbie was also in, who was in Birds of Prey.
That is true, which brings us from Ewan McGregor back to Ewan McGregor. Very helpful for Ewan McGregor.
Do we get double points for getting him twice?
You do not.
He was also cast recently. I don't even know if it's out yet in the new Red rum, red rum.
Yeah, he was in Doctor Sleep, which was the sequel where he played the kid from The Shining, all grown up, that came out last summer. Did not do super well.
Yeah. We
I
saw the
was
preview
not
for that.
surprised
Yeah.
when I saw that preview.
Again, like they just keep attaching him to these A-list properties and then they don't do well.
Right.
I know he does like a bunch of British things, and I just don't.
Not as many British things as you would think these days, to be honest.
Here, this might be a funny little thing that might be an interesting twist. Ewan McGregor was a last-minute, uncasted add-on to A Million Ways to Die in the West, the Seth MacFarlane movie, which also had Charlize Theron, Jamie Foxx.
Who was the villain?
The villain was the Irish guy from You Have My Daughter. I can't remember his name now.
And one of the reasons why Seth MacFarlane cast him was because there was a joke made in an episode of Family Guy where he could never play in a Western because he has this thick Irish accent. And,
oh my gosh.
And then when he cast him in A Million Ways to Die in the West, his condition was, okay, but I have to keep my Irish accent. I'm not going to put on a fake Western accent.
That's such a great bit in Family Guy.
And what is his name?
Clinch Leatherwood.
No, his real name, man.
Oh, Liam Neeson.
Liam Neeson, right. So Liam Neeson was also Qui-Gon Jinn with Ewan McGregor in Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace.
Oh, that's right.
That's right.
I forgot that huge role.
Okay, so now how does this tie us back to Michael Keaton? Oh my gosh, I've lost track of the path here.
Well, we're trying to get from Ewan McGregor to Michael Keaton. And yes, you can definitely go through Liam Neeson, keep working on it, or you can go a different route.
Okay.
Can we go through, who's the guy? Who's the, Neil Patrick Harris? Has he ever been in anything?
Oh, man.
He's been in a lot of things. Not a lot of movies, but the few he was in, he was glorious.
Yes.
I agree. I just don't know that he's, been in movies.
But he was a child actor.
Ooh.
He was.
I like that. He was a child actor.
If we can do NPH, we can get the child actor point.
Okay, so NPH was in a movie with Whoopi Goldberg. I can't remember the name of the movie. Clara something or other. I forget the name of it. I can't remember the name. Anyway. That might be a weird
I'm not sure if it's going to come out on the podcast, but I just have to mention it right now. My super lives above me, and he is a very big fan of the song If I Were a Hammer, because he hammers in the evening and he hammers in the morning. And when I knock on the door, his wife tells me that we have until 10 o'clock and then closes the door in my face. So he just hammer.
Oh, my God. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
Oh my gosh.
In the podcast for the audio recording.
Okay, well, right now the landscapers have decided that they're going to just trim all the trees right around where we are, so they might come buzzing right by this window.
Perfect. Yeah, no, I love when they do that.
Very excited.
It's great. It's not 3:00 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
All right. So where are we now? Okay. So we have so many possibilities
child
here.
actor with Neil Patrick Harris.
That's a really good twist. That got me very excited. Neil Patrick Harris was also in...
And I was a little too young for him also being young. I'm so young.
Says the person who was doing improv comedy 12 years ago in college.
Right.
Exactly. All right, so NPH, we got to him through The Million Ways to Die in the West.
Which was also Ewan but we don't need to...
it's like the smallest Ewan McGregor movie of all Ewan McGregor movies, but man, it works if you need it.
It could be really fun to pull
Right. We're still trying to get to Michael Keaton
right.
through this now.
Through this.
And if we did go through Neil Patrick, well, were there any other childhood actors in Million Ways to Die? Was Sarah Silverman in Nickelodeon's?
No, she actually came up as an adult in the comedy scene, but then she was an SNL cast member.
Oh, right.
Oh, I didn't know that.
For one season, she was a featured player.
Also, Giovanni Ribisi was in A Million Ways to Die in the West, who's been in a ton of movies.
Oh, goodness.
with so many other. And he may have been a child actor too. I just don't know if he was like super popular as a child actor. For some reason, I can't place what he might have been in.
Can we somehow try to tie in a Joaquin Phoenix connection? Because I just feel like I want to talk about him.
Well, I mean, if you can get from Ewan McGregor to Joaquin Phoenix, you knock yourself out.
Thank you.
We might be at 12 moves by that point.
Yeah. So let's think. Just start rattling off any Ewan McGregor movie you can possibly name. Just name whatever you got.
All right, we have Big Fish. We've got Star Wars. We got not Les Mis, Moulin Rouge. We've got A Million Ways to Die in the West. We've got.
Was he in anything else with suspenders? Was he in like Newsies or something?
Well, he was in Down with Love,
Oof.
which was like a period rom-com set in like the early 60s, and maybe he wore suspenders. His socks had suspenders. Or maybe no, his socks were Lycra, and David Hyde Pierce's socks needed those little like suspenders for the socks.
Yeah. Oh my God, David Hyde Pierce.
We're gonna bring that back.
We should. Oh my gosh.
I'm not familiar with Ewan McGregor films.
Okay, well then let's go the other way. Let's name Michael Keaton films. Obviously, we got 2 Batman films. You mentioned that. Yep. What else was he in?
He was in. Johnny Dangerously, which had Peter Boyle.
Who's that? Because maybe
Peter Boyle's the guy who played Frankenstein in Young Frankenstein. That's how you would probably.
He played Young Frankenstein's monster.
Yes. Frankenstein, which
had
the woman from Clue in it, and then the
Madeline Kahn was in it. So
Madeline Kahn was great. We were just talking about mixed nuts in our last episode, and we did not get a chance to just gush all over the late great Madeline Kahn.
She's awesome.
Phenomenal. Well, she was in Blazing Saddles as well.
Yes, and
I just rewatched Clue a couple of nights ago. My wife had never seen it before.
That's so weird. So did we. That's
great.
That's so random. That was the first time Kat had seen it. That was one of my favorite childhood movies.
It was very good. It was very good. Anyway, we're gonna.
So anyway, I know we're going.
Which had the actor you were trying to think of from Spinal Tap and Best in Show.
I was just going to say that exactly.
That
he was the one of the who was like, I'm the FBI agent.
Oh yes,
right. Michael Mick. Come on, you were so close on that. Just
who was also in Men in Black.
McDonald.
Was he?
Michael McKean.
Michael McKean is the actor you were thinking of. That is correct. Again, not sure how it helps us, but it's still fun to make sure you've got it. But oh my goodness, hold on, because who else was in Clue?
Tim Curry.
Sure. Who else? Who was Professor Plum?
Professor Plum. Oh, was that Christopher Lloyd?
Christopher Lloyd, who also had a small cameo in what film that we were mentioning before?
Was he?
He was in A Million Ways to Die in the West.
That's right. He reprises his role as Doc Brown, alluding to Back to the Future 3, which was set in the Old West. Let's see if we just won this game. So Ewan McGregor had a small part in A Million Ways to Die in the West, which had a very small part with Christopher Lloyd, who starred in Clue with Michael McKean, which may have wound up helping us after. Well, hold on. No, I'm sorry, Madeline Kahn. Madeline Kahn was how we wanted to get to that. Madeline Kahn,
who was in Young Frankenstein with Peter Boyle.
And
Johnny Dangerously with Michael Keaton.
Oh,
boom! You've done it.
Goodness.
I am
Charlie, my boy. You've done it.
Also, Eric Ginsberg just helped us
he really did.
a lot.
Oh, come on. You were right there. You had A Million Ways to Die in the West. You had Clue. I just had to remind you who was in both. You did it. Let's jot this down.
The spirituality of this whole thing. We recently moved our bookshelves from this room to a different room, and I came across the DVD of A Million Ways to Die in the West, and I'm like, why on earth, out of all the random movies in the world, did Rich purchase this film?
It's great. I really enjoyed it.
And I saw it, and I can't believe I had a
I have-
moment with it the other day.
I have
And
more
then that was the
synchronicity.
key.
I have synchronicity to add to that.
Go ahead.
Because obviously when we fill out, we give Eric a little bit of our background on movies that we like.
Yeah.
That was going to be the answer to my question. Which movie do you wish your friends had seen that you can talk to them about?
Oh,
And I was like, maybe I won't put that one.
And that's what, A Million Ways to Die in the West?
Yes.
I thought it was really well written. I thought it was really well acted. I thought it was very funny. I thought that Charlize Theron added this gravitas to the film. I loved the dynamic between Giovanni Ribisi and Sarah Silverman, between Giovanni Ribisi and Seth MacFarlane. I thought there was just so much great happening in that movie.
So quotable too.
Wow, I have to watch it again. Let's do that tonight.
When they're moving the big block of ice, they just came to watch the big block of ice and it drops and he just starts screaming.
So silly. People die at the fair.
Oh, that.
Yeah. So, guys, I'm just going to read it off in my official announcer voice because you guys have won the game. Let's talk it out. We had to get from Catherine O'Hara to Michael Keaton. If we could go through Ewan McGregor, that would be a bonus point. So you said Catherine O'Hara was in the Nightmare Before Christmas with Paul Rubens, who was in Batman Returns with Danny DeVito, who was in Big Fish with our wild card, Ewan McGregor, going to check off the wild card box for you, who had a very small cameo part in A Million Ways to Die in the West, which also had a very small cameo part from Christopher Lloyd, who was in Clue with Madeline Kahn, who was in Young Frankenstein with Peter Boyle, who was in Johnny Dangerously with Michael Keaton. And that is going to be the win. Just give me 1 second. I just have to fact check one thing for my brain. Yes, absolutely, you did it. There was one person I wasn't sure of it. I had to double check, and you did it. You were great. So we're going to take 10, and we're going to subtract the number of movies, which was 7. So that's going to get us 3 points. You got 3 more points on the wild card. Did we do our house rule? Did we use anybody who was at one point a child actor? I don't think that we did. Did we get Kevin Bacon? Unfortunately, no, we did not. Did we get any SNL cast members? Though certainly we talked about them. And one thing we mentioned in our last episode is that Catherine O'Hara was contracted for SNL. She was there for 2 weeks, but never actually in an episode because she quit before the season began back in 1980-81 season. So she cannot count. So we did not get any of those points, but we are still going to get 6 points overall and a win. Great job, guys. You did it. You've done it. You've won the game. Kat, Rich, thank you guys so much for taking the time to be on 5 to 9 today, for playing our game. You've each won the official 5 to 9 gamepad, which comes with 50 game cards and is also available now at 5to9game.com. Listeners, make sure to check out Kat London. Make sure to check out Kat and Vegas and the Temple of Boom. Make sure to check out Rich Aveo, who of course is streaming just about every day live right now, but of course when we're all out of our homes, check him out anywhere you can see great piano music. If you 5 to 9ers listening out there in the podcast ether, we're chomping at the bit, yelling out a better solution to today's challenge as we play through it. You can enter for a chance to come on our show by beating us at our own game. Just download or purchase official 5 to 9 game cards at 5to9game.com. Play today's challenge, post your game card on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook, and tag at 5to9game in your post. High scores, as well as creativity and entertainment value, will all be considered. This has been 5 to 9. I'm your host, Eric Ginsberg. Our show is recorded right now from our homes under quarantine. I'm in Asbury Park. Kat, Rich, where are you guys coming to me from today?
Aberdeen,
which is not in the South, despite your Southern accent. But our sound engineers today have been us. We're doing it ourselves. Our theme music is by me. Subscribe to 5 to 9 podcast through the Apple Podcast app, Google Podcast app, SoundCloud, Spotify, YouTube if you want to look at us too, or literally everywhere else you get your podcasts. Please play along with us online through social media on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. You can play today's challenge or make up your own and play with or against the global 5 to 9 community. Just don't forget to tag at 5 to 9 game when you do. Thanks for listening, and let's play together again soon.
Yes.
Woo.
You guys did it. You were great.
That was
so much fun,
fun,
man.
Eric.
Thank you.
I can't believe